So today's video is on a few tips when it comes to how not to do more damage than necessary to your small engines. So stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. My name is Eric if you don't know it. And here's a couple things of do's and don'ts. Alright, when it comes to your lawnmower tire going flat, don't use Fixaflat and don't use Goomp. I know that those market and they say it fills holes, this and that, but I'm telling you right now, if you do that, you're going to end up buying a new tire and a new rim, because we cannot get the stuff off from the rim or out of the inside of the tire. It's a mess. Had you brought it to us just like this, you're looking at maybe a $13 tube, another $10 to install it. If you use Fixaflat, or in this case, this dumbass decided to use household spray foam to try to seal it, you're buying yourself a new tire and rim. And this tire looked in pretty good shape, so did the rim. But now we can't use either. So that's tip one. Do not do this unless you want to piss off your repair shop and cost you more money. Because the cost of the tires are around 30, 40 bucks. Rim is another 40 to 50 bucks depending on what it is, compared to $23. The other, I get this asked a lot. What's the difference between starting fluid and carburetor fluid? And what are the do's and don'ts? Okay, I know this starting fluid by Stable and even the Walmart brand talks about having, lubricant for the upper cylinder walls and stuff. But here's the issue. If you're just going to give it a quick shot, be done with it, not going to be too bad. But most people will just spray on, okay? This burns at a higher temp than carburetor cleaner. So what could end up happening is you can take and burn a hole right through the top of your piston if you're using too much of this. It'll get it too hot and it will melt that piston. Guaranteed. They're aluminum pistons. Carburetor cleaner, I've never had a case of where when you're using it, even if you give it a good burst, it's not going to burn hot enough to melt that piston. And we know that because we've had it happen in the past. If it's gotta have it quick, one little spurt, that's fine. But most of us, we have to keep feathering it, right? So to be on the safe side, get the carburetor and choke cleaner. Don't bother with the starting fluid, and use this on all your small engine, your gas stuff. Now, for me, when I have diesel tractors, and we do get diesel compacts that come in that may need a quick burst, carburetor cleaner isn't going to cut it, but starting fluid will on the diesels. And the big thing is, make sure you're using the starting fluid that has the lubricant, because if not, it will dry that cylinder right out and lock it up. So on that. All right, another tip. When it comes to storing these weed eaters in the fall of the year, and same thing with your push mowers, drain the gas out and then let them run until they burn the gas out of the carburetor. Why am I saying that? It's going to save you money and time when it comes to bringing it to me, because most often the case is if you didn't do that, that means that carburetor is right full of varnish. Gone. where it's been sitting all winter long. And the fuel is no longer any good anyway, so we're going to have to dump it out. So if you can, simply take and dump as much out of that as you can. Start it up with choke and let it run the rest of the stuff through that cylinder. And that will help you have less costly repairs to get it serviced in the spring, okay? The lawnmowers, I know a lot of guys will take and try to get as much out, or they'll keep their, towards the end of the year, they won't keep filling their push mowers. On those, they're getting the fuel down low, and then they're taking a vice grip and just clamping it on the handle and putting it outside and just letting it run until it quits on its own and it's completely out of fuel. On a rider, take and shut the fuel off every time and let it burn everything from the carburetor in that part from the line down through. Let it run itself out so there's no fluid sitting inside that carburetor. Snow blowers, same thing. When it gets ready to put them into storage in the spring of the year, the best thing you can do, don't be putting a lot of stable in these units, because all you're going to do is piss off your regular mechanic. And I've seen Claude go out there with gas and it will turn his hands just white from the stabilizer. It dries everything right out. But on the snow blowers, simply turn the fuel off while it's running, let it run out. Your lawnmower, the same thing. While it's running, make sure you have an inline shut off, shut it off, and it will take and run everything out from the shut off through the carburetor. And it will make your life and your mechanic's life that much easier, unless your mechanic is wanting to put a bigger bill by having to do all the extras. So on that note, hopefully you've learned a tip or two, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.